In case you're living under a rock, $1,000 car payments are the new normal. Recent headlines show that up to 15% of new car purchases reach that 4-figure mark. And a lot of these car payments are going viral on social media. And you've probably seen these before, right? The crazy people that are saying that they spend $1,600 to $1,700 to $1,800 a month just for their truck payment.
Asking what your monthly car payment is.
$17.65.
Is that before or after car insurance?
Before.
That's crazy. So in this video, we're gonna be covering exactly how much you can afford if you make $75,000 per year. Okay, let's be real. If you're earning $75K a year, you're earning a decent salary. But here's the trap: the cost of vehicle ownership. Factoring things like skyrocketing auto insurance and inflated repair costs have jumped over 24% in the past 3 years. Buying the wrong car right now won't make things just tight month to month, but it'll actively prevent you from investing, saving for a house, or building any real wealth. Today, we're gonna be covering a couple golden car buying rules, the exact math breakdown for a 75K salary, and the hidden maintenance math that goes into any car that you're thinking about purchasing. Let's get started with the first car buying rule, the 35% rule. This rule states that the absolute most you can spend on a car is 35% of your annual gross salary. Now, if you make $75,000 a year, the absolute most using this rule would be $26,500 on a vehicle. Now, in reality, that 35% is a bit aggressive. And to be honest, that's mostly geared towards the car buying enthusiast more than the average Joe. Anyway, it's geared towards the person that actually wants to spend a pretty penny on the vehicle that they're driving. Now, if you want just a reliable vehicle to take you from point A to point B, I would highly recommend stepping down to the about 20 to 25% of your gross annual salary. In my opinion, that 25% is more of the sweet spot. A budget of $18,750 still gets you a really solid vehicle. But with that being said, it'll also free up other things in your life to assure that you're not car poor and not being able to afford the basic amenities of life. Now let's talk about car affordability on a month-to-month basis. This is where we'll use the 20-4-10 rule. The first part, 20, is a 20% down payment. Now if you're looking at an $18,750 car, you'll need to put down at least $3,750. Now why, you might ask? Simply because cars are depreciating assets. If you finance 100% of the car's value, it'll typically depreciate 20% in that first year of car ownership. Now if you suddenly need to sell it, at that point you'll be underwater that 20%. So if you do try to get out of the vehicle, you have to come up with at least the 20% difference just to get into a new car loan or a new vehicle. And that's what people refer to it as, being underwater on a vehicle. Putting 20% down will in most cases act as a shield to prevent that in case anything were to happen. Now next is 4. You should not finance a car for more than 4 years, so 48 months. Pushing a loan to 6 to 7 years is the common misconception in making someone think they can actually afford the vehicle that they're purchasing. Now, I'm sure you've seen this before. You have 2 people at dinner, one person drives a BMW and the other person drives a Honda Civic. And then they both say that their car payment is around the same exact amount. Let's say they both pay $550 for each vehicle. That Civic owner might feel really terrible about their car payment, but in reality, that Civic owner only has a 48-month term versus the person driving the BMW who has an 84-month term over that same duration. That BMW owner simply stretched out the term to 84 months and financed 50 grand, where the Honda Civic owner only financed a measly $20,000. Same car payment, completely different contract terms. Lastly, the 10, your monthly car expenses, including the car payment itself, monthly insurance, as well as maintenance. On top of that, you have to factor in gas or electric if you drive some sort of electric vehicle product. Now, that being said, you must be under 10% of your gross monthly income. Here's a quick hack. Take your gross annual salary and divide it by 120. For a $75,000 salary, your absolute max monthly car budget should exceed no more than $625. That ensures that you still have money to live life, invest, or do whatever you want to do without having to be car poor. The average price paid for a new vehicle just crossed $48,000. To comfortably afford that using the 35% rule, you would need to make over $130,000 a year to afford that comfortably. The harsh reality is that millions of Americans are driving a car that they just can't simply afford. If you're making $75,000 a year, don't fall into the trap of having very expensive vehicles. What I will say though, is if you keep everything else within reason and you budget well, if you want to go a bit over that, by no means will it wreck your budget. But what I will say is don't let a car dictate your future. Don't have a crazy high car payment just because the bank or the dealership will ensure that you get approved on it. Just run the numbers. You know your budget best, and ultimately that's what it's going to come down to. If you love cars, of course, you're welcome to exceed that. It's just take a look at the overall picture, run the numbers, and see if that cost of ownership is going to cost you in the long run. Here soon I'll be making a video relative to $100,000, so if that interests you, feel free to click up here. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like as well as subscribe. Thank you so much for watching and enjoy the rest of your day.